Hello everyone. Today I'm bringing you the team that I just took to the Charlotte Regionals this past weekend and managed to make day 2 with. First of all, I want to give credit where credit is due. I did not build this team. It was originally built by an extremely strong player and team builder named Gavin Michaels. You've almost certainly heard of them if you're watching my channel, who piloted it to a first place finish at the Oceania Internats. So check them out for sure. They're a fantastic player, and I love them for making this team because it's been so much fun to play with, and it features a bunch of my favorite Pokemon. Seeing as I didn't build it though, I'm only going to go over it fairly quickly before jumping into some ladder games with it. If you don't even want to hear that, there should be timestamps in the description or in the seek bar for you to skip ahead to those games directly. Game 2 stars the Double Dragon, if that is what you are interested in. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Anyway, let's go through the team real quick. Palafin, just a bulky spread, which in my opinion is the best way to run Terra Water because you have all of that great defensive typing. I think faster Palafins are the ones that tend to run things like Terra Grass. The spread is slightly speedier than Gavin's, and this helps with the mirror as well as some mid-speed mons that tend to vary. That you can sometimes, when they run a lot of bulk, you can outspeed them. So like Annihilape and Goldengo, for example, having those extra few points can be nice. Otherwise, though, the set's identical. Haze absolutely bodies on Dozo. It helps get rid of defense drops since the team is very physical. That actually helped me a lot day 1 into bulk up Pokemon. Dragonite, super useful for terrain. Spam, it's really vital to our Spam matchup. You can blast physically frail targets with Flying Terra Blast. You can just erase Flutter off the field if it doesn't have a Terra type like Steel. And you can just pick up KOs on relatively low HP mons with extreme speed. That +2 priority can be massive. Lum gives us an amazing matchup into Lilycole, Talonflame, and then things like Bonnet and Amoonguss on Trick Room teams. They'll often have that in there. More Bonnet, really, on the Trick Room teams where you're always bringing Dragonite. But yeah, having the condition immunity, really fantastic. This team is particularly Intimidate weak, so I did miss Inner Focus a lot, but Multiscale is really big for us. It shores up some of our bad matchups, particularly Mouseape. And since we're not running that Assault Vest, it's also really nice to soak up hits from things like Fluttermane so you can smack them back. Okay, so unlike my Orlando team, Pelipper, this is just 252 modest, and with a Sash. I tried running bulk back in Orlando. I tried a defensive Terra type, all that. It's just not great. You still can't really tank hits, and you do almost no damage with your pretty inaccurate moves too. So like just relying on the Sash to stay alive, and then pulling out, you can pull out some big damage with Terra Flying Hurricane or Hydro Pump and Rain. In particular, if you Terra, you can just flat out Oko Iron Bundle, which is quite a problem for our team. So that's a very nice thing to have there. There is no wide guard, but to be honest, I never missed it. Then Iron Hands, it just has amazing synergy with that Palafin Pelipper core, and as well as Amoonguss. This set kind of swaps the attack and speed from Gavin's set. It's slightly weaker, but having the extra speed to win Fake Out Wars can be really nice. In addition to allowing you to outspeed Arcanine and Tailwind, so if you have that up, you can Volt Switch out before you get burned, which is very nice. But otherwise, yeah, it just serves that same purpose of being the perfect mon to swap Palafin out into, and then I have Fake Out on the following turn. So notably, we are running Close Combat over Drain Punch, reason being when you have this low of an attack investment, you really want the extra base power to pick up, to have that burst damage there. And trust me when I say 252 special defense plus AV makes you so like unrealistically bulky. It's crazy what you can lift with it. Alright, last two, BAXCALIBUR. This is probably the spiciest bit of Gavin's team, notably Dragon Fang Glaive Rush. It picks up a guaranteed Oko onto most Iron Bundles. Even if they run a little bit of bulk, you can still Oko them all the time. So I would love to run Clear Amulet on it just for that Intimidate protection, but the item's very much necessary, partially for the bundle and partially for the 2-hit KO on Iron Hands, who can be problematic for this team. Otherwise, just Ice has amazing synergy with this team since we are generally walled by grass types outside of a Pelipper Hurricane, so getting that there is nice. Ice Shard enjoys Dragonite's terrain removal. Unfortunately, just like Dragonite, this Pokemon's moveset does get walled entirely by Steel types, but that's why we have Iron Hands. And finally, there's Amoonguss. It just mostly does Amoonguss things, benefiting from Rain, providing Pollen Puff healing to our big bulky attackers, which is super vital for our matchup with Palafin against Dozo. Terra Steel is a bit of a spicy option, though, that Gavin chose. That allows us to resist flying and psychic moves, and it also still benefits from our Rain, and it's particularly useful into Mothmane teams, since you can Rage Powder away their Acid Spray and be immune to it, so that's quite nice. Anyway, so that is the team. Let's go ahead and jump into some ladder games that I played the week before. Okay, our first opponent. They appear to be running a pretty hard Trick Room team. Ape could be Final Gambit, I could see that, but otherwise this looks like hard Trick Room, but unlike the usual Size Spam stuff, it's using Farigiraf as the priority prevention and the setter. So this was really common early on in Series 1, but I haven't seen much of it since. I do like opening Palafin here, so we have the option to be aggressive right off the bat, especially if we put Pelipper next to it for rain, but otherwise we'll just do really good damage with it even if we swap it out immediately. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a better partner than Pelipper here. But I'm really leaning towards the bird just because of the potential for a wave crash and rain, maybe even Terra wave crash and rain. People tend to not see the baby fin coming, so yeah, we'll go with that. As for our third, I kind of like hands in the back. It'll just be a great switch in for Palafin, whenever we choose to actually do that. And then Amoonguss just as a potential to use their Trick Room against them. Normally, I actually leave Amoonguss behind against like standard Size Spam stuff just because they use Terra Grass on a lot of mons, also just on Indeedee or Goggles Indeedee. But in this case, it looks like they might be particularly vulnerable to it. There's also no hat, so we don't have to worry about things like Magic Bounce here. And they went right down to the buzzer on choosing theirs. All right, let's see what Tauntaun is leading with here. We have, that's Iron Hands in French, yeah, Iron Hands and Sylveon. Okay, so not actually leading with a Trick Room setter, which is really interesting. Sylveon is really scary for us here. I kind of just want to get it off the board immediately. I'd also guess that Pelipper is a pretty obvious Sash target in this format, so it feels like it would be really like a big fake out target for them. So we can swap in Amoonguss here, and the reason for that is that if they do fake out Palafin for whatever reason, or if Sylveon like Terra Waters maybe to live our Wave Crash, then at least Amoonguss will eat up a Hyper Voice really well. This also puts our Pelipper nice and safely in the back to reset Rain if we end up stalling out all of our 5 turns. Yeah, really hoping we caught them by surprise, though. Baby Finn going Terra Water, Wave Crash, and Rain picks up so many early Okos. And no Protects or Fake Outs. Amazing. Okay. We do have to hope that they didn't just wild charge the Palafin slot, but yeah, there's the Oko. Good stuff. And wild charge into the Pelipper slot. Amazing. So that turn 1 could not have gone better for us. So let's see what they're bringing in next. Farigiraf. Okay, so it looks like they are going that Trick Room route, although I kind of hope they do with Amoonguss on the field. But now, do I want to just remove Farigiraf? That could be really nice, but I feel like they know that I'm not afraid to attack with Palafin here, and I don't want to just give it up. So let's get Iron Hands out and just go for a Spore. Farigiraf could use a Psychic move on us, but our Amoonguss is especially defensive, and they generally don't have much power, the Farigiraf that is, without having Throat Spray. The only problem here is that they might be Goggles. Iron Hands also might go Terra Grass here, I don't really know. And they are just going for a Psychic into Amoonguss. That's amazing. Yeah, we take that really well. Our Citrus should proc here. Yeah, great. I don't know anything that Hands could do to take out Amoonguss. We generally wall it quite well. Unless they have Ice Punch, but we live. Amoonguss is so clutch. And it looks like there's no Goggles on the Farigiraf, so we are in a fantastic spot here. Okay, so from here, let's just get some damage down onto the Farigiraf. And then as for Amoonguss, I think it would be pretty obvious for them to attack it. So, I mean, we could go for the Spore just in case, but I like the idea of preserving it and proccing Regenerator. So let's pull Pelipper back in here. This is annoying because our Rain isn't over yet, but we have the Sash, and that Farigiraf hasn't taken its mandatory sleep turn yet. So as far as I know, there's no way that Pelipper can go down here. Iron Hands does not get any multi-hit moves, so... All right, just under half. And this is where that low attack investment on Iron Hands really comes back to bite us a little bit. I just go for Ice Punch. All right, that really sucks, actually. That's not great. All right, well, Pelipper's only purpose in life is to keep the rain going, so let's just get it out again. Yeah, there's 2 turns left, so what we can do is swap Amoonguss in, protect a turn, and then get Pelipper back in once the rain is gone. Ideally, we can swap it in to sack it as we set up rain, but yeah, these freezes, I've had horrible luck this whole generation with freezes, to be perfectly honest. Wild Charge, and in retrospect, I really could have gone for the CC. It almost certainly would have picked at that point, so that's a bit annoying, but that's entirely my own fault. The Farigiraf is still asleep, though, so it ended up working out okay. We don't end up having to take any stat drops to take it off the field. So we can just go ahead for the Wild Charge here. And on Amoonguss, yeah, I don't think I can swap into Pelipper here because I need to keep the rain up, and there's 1 turn left. So I kind of like the idea of just sacking the Amoonguss so it can go down. On the off chance they don't attack it, then we'll get the Spore off, and if they do, then we can get Palafin into that slot, and then swap in Pelipper to the other one on the following turn. And yeah, just go for Ice Punch. Okay, fair enough. Amoonguss still really pulled its weight this game, though, so I'll take that every time. All right, Palafin in here. The rain's gone, so we can swap in the Pelipper and get a big wave crash off in rain. Okay, so Annihilape. This is really rough in closed team sheets because it could easily be either the setup variant or the Choice Scarf Final Gambit variant. And so what I think I like doing here is swapping hands into Pelipper. Let's get that rain back up, hopefully sack the Pelipper. If it goes down, that's really in our favor. And then let's just protect Palafin. Because what we can do here is basically just scout for their move if they are Scarf, and I'm pretty sure we'll know. It'll either be Gambit or like Shadow Claw or something like that, or CC. They generally don't run CC unless they're Scarf. So yeah, we can scout what the what kind of ape it is, and if it does turn out to be Scarf, then we'll do a big Terra Water Jet Punch in rain. It probably won't actually Oko, but it'll bring it so low that Final Gambit will be just them sacking themselves at that point. I don't know if our hands actually beats theirs in a 1v1 if they have Drain Punch and we keep giving ourselves CC drops, but if they kill Palafin with a Wave Crash on that turn, then we should be able to win just because of the recoil damage. So let's go ahead and see what they are now. And they're Protect. Okay, could not have gone better. So now we know for a fact they're not going to be faster than us, or they could be faster, but they can't Oko us, so that's great. And they take down Pelipper. Okay, I think this game is more or less won at this point. Especially because we now have Fake Out Pressure, which is really big. Yeah, this turn should be a no-brainer. We just Fake Out the hands, Wave Crash the ape. Even if the ape's faster than us, it won't be able to kill either of our Mons, and we'll take it out this turn. Terra Water, Wave Crash, and Rain on Hero Palafin. It might be the strongest move in this format, to be perfectly honest. I'm struggling to think of anything stronger than that right now, so this should be good. Yeah, Fake Out, great. And we're faster, which makes sense because they're a Trick Room team, right? So this ape is probably meant to operate under Trick Room. But that should, yeah, take it out, no problem. Awesome. So yeah, now we just double in CC Wave Crash. That should be the game. Awesome. We get to see the dolphin mow right through him. What a great game. All right. Good game to Tauntaun, and let's see if we can do 1 or 2 more here. Okay, on to our next match, and this is against Joker. The Gastrodon here is a massive pain. This is probably my least favorite mon to see here, so we're going to have to go without Palafin. I absolutely leave Palafin at home against every Gastro team, at least game 1. So, yeah, we're going to be leaning on those dragons here. I kind of like... I want to lead one of them next to Pelipper for potential speed control, but my question is I don't know whether it should be Bax or Dragonite. Bax has really nice damage into a lot of these, and immunity to Wisp from Arcanine would also be really nice. We can go Terra Poison against Fluttermane too. But, I mean, Dragonite has much better pressure damage-wise into things like Fluttermane, and Amoonguss for that matter too. I guess we could always Icicle Crash, but I prefer the consistency of flying Terra Blast here. Plus, you have that Lumberry in case you don't pick up the KO, right? Like, an Intimidate might mean that we don't. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do Dragonite and Pelipper as our lead, and then Bax in the back. As for the fourth, it's got to be Hands or Amoonguss. I'm leaning Amoonguss here just because there's a lot of stuff that just resists Hands attacks. I don't think it has super effective damage into basically anything here. So, yeah, it is Amoonguss. Let's go ahead and play this out then. We can, on a ladder game with a Palafin team, you can almost always assume that they're going to bring the Gastro if they have it. But looks like it's probably in the back then. So Grimmsnarl and Fluttermane. Yeah, alright, and trying to think here. I guess we just want our speed control immediately. We can just click Tailwind and then try to take Fluttermane off the board. So this is cool because Grimmsnarl could fake out Pelipper and then they just KO it, but if they do, then there's no Reflect, which means Dragonite will just erase Fluttermane unless it has Terra Steel, in which case, you know, good game, but I can't tell that on ladder, so is what it is. Now, if they do Reflect, this will probably miss the KO, especially if it's running bulk, like a lot of Fluttermanes do, but that will mean that we also get the Tailwind up, because Fluttermane does not have any multi-hit moves, so Pelipper will always live on its Sash. Balloon Knight. Gotta love it. And they're going for Reflect. Okay, so this is kind of that midway play on their part. And Calm Mind. Oh, okay, so this thing is definitely going to be bulky. With Reflect and whatever bulk it's running, I'm pretty sure we won't pick up this KO, but it should still do a really healthy chunk. Tailwind goes up. It's good. Pelipper is indeed faster than Dragonite, so let's see how much damage we do here. Solid. Okay, so even with Reflect, it's still an easy 2-hit KO. I think I like splitting the damage here. It seems like a pretty obvious protect on Fluttermane, but I don't want to leave it unpunished in case it doesn't. So yeah, let's just get some damage down to Grim as well. Oh, they're withdrawing. Okay. Into Arcanine. Yeah, and Arcanine really is one of this team's real problem points, just because we have so many physical attackers, and I'm missing Inner Focus so much right now. Because we're multi-scale, we will take that Intimidate drop, and they do protect. Okay, yeah, so at -1 through Reflect against a bulky mon like Arcanine, I don't think this Terra Blast is going to do a ton. I guess I'll take the free chip, though. We also have our Lumberry, and the benefit of it being closed team sheet is they don't know that, so they may waste a turn with a Will-O-Wisp too. So now Fluttermane just protected, though, so I like the idea of doubling it. I don't really have faith in either of the attacks picking up the KO because they're +1 special defense, and Fluttermane already has great special defense, on top of the reflected -1 stopping Dragonite's damage. So yeah, really good thing we doubled in. That Dazzle really hurt too. He went before me, despite my Tailwind. He must have been booster. I wasn't paying attention at the beginning. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, had I been paying attention, I would have not clicked Tailwind. I would have just attacked because we can't have speed control anyway. But they do go for the Wisp, so that's really nice. This we should eat our Lumberry here. It has been consumed now, though, so they can easily just go for another one. And they send out Grim here. Okay. Yeah, from here, let's get more damage down to the Arcanine, because it's really annoying with Intimidate, and we'll swap Dragonite into Bax. If they go for that second Wisp, then we'll just eat it up with Thermal Exchange. And they just protect Arcanine. Okay, well, great call on their part, honestly. And they just go for the light screen. Okay. So they have both their screens up now. A bit of a slower game. Actually, I didn't super think this one through, though, because Grimmsnarl does have that Spirit Break. Probably, I assume. And our Tailwind is gone now. So we only have one more turn of Rain. Let's swap in Amoonguss, just because it can eat a hit. And I think I even want to protect Bax, because here's the thing. It's really tempting to Glaive Rush the Arcanine because I just protected. But if I do that, then I'm going to take 4 times damage from that Spirit Break. And Grim has a pretty respectable attack stat, even as a support mon, so that doesn't seem like a good time to me. But if we protect, get Amoonguss out, then we can just Rage Powder stuff away. Granted, Rage Powdering a Flare Blitz in not rain will not be great for us, but we have the Citrus Berry, we have Regenerator, I think they'll be okay. And they go for Terra Grass in the face of my Amoonguss, which makes a lot of sense. No, it wasn't in the face of the Amoonguss. I just swapped in the Amoonguss. That is actually amazing for us. Now we don't even have to risk the double damage on Glaive Rush. We can just click Icicle Crash into this thing. And they clicked Snarl. I guess that would have been nice for them with Pelipper, but anyway. From here, I think we just sack Pelipper. We get the rain back up because we don't have to worry about the 4 times Spirit Break damage. It's still going to hurt. It's still regular super effective, but I think I like this just to get the Icicle Crash down into Arcanine. And I feel like Amoonguss not in rain was pretty good bait, so they might go for it. But they go for the Snarl again. Okay, that's pretty good read, honestly. Icicle Crash actually connects. Amazing. That's always a kind of a clincher. And we get the KO. Okay, great. So we are in a 4v2 situation now. Granted, Pelipper is barely hanging on, but I still like our odds a lot in this game. And Spirit Break. So let's see how much this does. Well over half, yeah. So if I had Glaive Rush, that would have been an easy Oko. So I'm glad we had some restraint there. And they send out Gastro. Okay. So from here, yeah, let's go ahead and protect the backs, and then just get some damage down with Pelipper. It's kind of done its thing already. Just let it do a little more damage through the light screen. It's not going to be a ton, but get some damage down and get our stronger mons in. And they just go for Clear Smog. Okay. Need to start to infer Gastro's moveset here too. Recover is kind of a big deal, right? Generally, if you have a utility move like Clear Smog, you won't have both Protect and Recover. It's hard to say. Let's go ahead and Rage Powder, though, and then we can start putting that big Dragon Fang Glaive Rush damage into the Gastro. And their physical defense is not very good. Granted that they'll usually invest in it, but I think this should be solid. Although they do have Reflect up. I believe I actually haven't checked the turns in a little bit. And that was a turn 1 Reflect, if I recall. The problem. I'm trying to give commentary and I'm not actually looking at the screen half the time, so gotta keep an eye on the messaging. And they have Protect. Okay. I think that should make it safe to attack it then. If you have Protect and Clear Smog, I can't imagine you'd have Recover as well, right? And Misty Terrain, okay. So that makes Sleep not happen, but it also weakens my Glaive Rush, so I don't think I want to be clicking Glaive Rush anymore. So I could just go for Rage Powder Icicle Crash here, but I can miss, and I really don't want to give up this this damage here. I guess we'll just go for it. We'll see. right now we know all 4 of Grimm's moves. Reflect, Light Screen, Misty Terrain, Spirit Break, which means that it can't do anything into Amoonguss. If that Gastro has an Ice move, it's a bit of trouble, but let's see here. Crash connects again. Great RNG, although them setting Reflect up again is annoying. Earth Power. Okay, so Earth Power, Clear Smog, Protect on that one. Now, we're really not doing much with this Ice Cold Crash. I think a more consistent play, instead of just doing this again, Dragonite's a much better attacker in this scenario, actually. So what I kind of like doing is Pollen Puffing the back slot, and then I can swap Dragonite into it, get our multi-scale back, even if we get hit with a Spirit Break, it'll be neutral damage because we Terra Flyinged. And then we could even restore our multi-scale, potentially. Protect on Gastro again, okay. And Spirit Break here. Just under half. I think Pollen Puff is just gonna barely miss us getting multi-scale back, but it's fine. The rain stopped. Honestly, I don't know why I was so keen on getting rain back up since we don't have Palafin here. But yeah, let's just keep restoring ourselves and take down this Grimm. They go for Spirit Break into the Amoonguss? Maybe they were reading us swapping into backs. I guess I could see it. And Gastro does have Recover, so it has Recover, Protect, Earth Power, and Clear Smog. Anyway, we got our multi-scale back. That is a kind of a way too passive a set for Gastrodon, in my opinion. It also means that they absolutely can't even touch Dragonite. Clear Smog's going to do nothing to us. I don't think it has a chance to poison since it has that stat clearing functionality instead. So, yeah, I think at this point we just have a nice slow cleanup here and get Grimmsnarl off the field. Rage Powder away those Spirit Breaks so we can keep our multi-scale and then just keep smacking it. Nice, that just takes it out from that range. Amazing. Man, Amoonguss has been an absolute tank for these games too. And Mist is gone, which means Bax can do damage again, so let's get it back out and then just go ahead and click the Terra Blast. This game's over, we just need to get our big damage dealers on the field to overwhelm the Recover. And on the off chance they do manage to KO Bax here, we'll just be able to spore them. Earth Power, and let's see. Yeah, still living. Bax has really great special bulk on this team, so yeah. At this point, trying to decide how I want to do this. I think it might be optimal to protect Bax for a turn, but let's just finish it off. Let's just click Glaive Rush here. Yeah, battle's canceled. Great game to my opponent. I intend to be doing some Regulation C videos as well as more Malamar Games videos, so stay tuned, and until next time.